Mayoral election polls open today. Grocery prices continue to skyrocket, and the University of Oklahoma is supplying free HIV testing. This is OU Nightly. Thanks for joining us for OU Nightly. I'm Tyler Deluca.
And I'm Mady Daddario. It's election day here in Norman and many other cities across Oklahoma. We begin tonight with a look in the Norman's mayor race.
OU Nightly's Avery Goreman begins our team coverage this election day.
There are 5 candidates in the running for mayor, one including current mayor Bria Clark. Bria Clark was elected as the current mayor of Norman in 2019. She wants to produce long-term facilities for Norman's homeless population and improve the infrastructure in the city. Bob Thompson is the owner of Midway Deli and is wanting to bring back a local focus to Norman. He wants to focus on economic development, homelessness, and making the city government available for all. Larry Heikela is a retired Navy Command Master Chief and former City of Norman safety manager. He wants to bring a government that serves the local needs of its citizens. Dr. Nicole Kish is a local optometrist who has owned and operated her practice for 22 years and was also an Air National Guard veteran. She promotes police funding and supports small businesses here in Norman. Alice Stevenson Luck is a Norman native. She wants to ask the Riverwood Casino to build a state-of-the-art homeless rehabilitation center. Election board officials are encouraging citizens to make their voices heard at the polls.
City council races, mayoral races, school board races, they all affect us, close to home.
Norman natives will also be voting for the city council members in wards 2, 4, 6, and 8. They will also be voting for the Norman Public Schools office. Avery Goreman, OU Nightly.
For a winner to be declared in the mayor's race, one candidate must get more than 50% of the vote. If that doesn't happen, there will be a runoff race.
Voter turnout will have a big impact on if that runoff is necessary. Let's check in on how that's going at the polling place closest to campus. OU Nightly's Zaria Oates is live with the story.
Poll workers here at University Lutheran Church say that voter turnout just wasn't that high, despite this being a polling location for 2 separate precincts. Is a poll for both Precinct 42 and Precinct 13. Voter Larry Brown says he hasn't voted in local elections in recent years, but this election is different.
I haven't been too good on local elections, I'll be honest.
Okay, and why is that?
I won't say lack of interest, lack of knowledge and awareness.
But this election, he says he's more informed and wants to see a change.
I guess I'd like to see a change in some of our leadership in the council.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of change are you looking to see?
Oh, could we lean a little middle way or somewhat conservatively as opposed to liberal?
While poll workers at this location say they expected a higher voter turnout, the Cleveland County Election Board says they just aren't sure what to expect this election. Polls close at 7 p.m. Tuesday, so Mady, Tyler, if you're going to go out and vote today, make sure you get in line soon.
Thanks, Zaria. With medical experts saying the Omicron virus will soon peak in Oklahoma, the state's case numbers continue to trend downward. The health department reported almost 100 new cases today. There are a little over 47,000 active cases in Oklahoma currently, and almost 14,000 Oklahomans have died from COVID-19 since the start of the pandemic.
And there's only a few weeks left until a new Supreme Court justice is announced. Allison England has that story and the rest of today's headlines from around the world.
Thanks, Tyler. There's only 3 weeks left until President Joe Biden is set to announce his new Supreme Court nominee. White House officials have started the selection process, but no in-person meetings have taken place yet. Officials have said that the FBI is currently vetting potential candidates.
The President's been focused on over the course of the last several days is reviewing and consulting with internal team members on a group of qualified nominees.
The nominee will replace retiring Justice Stephen Breyer. And Memphis residents have been without power for 5 days and are buying generators to try and stay warm.
800 plus the cords were about another 100, and the gas tanks were another 100, and it will not really fire up a furnace.
Residents are frustrated and are hoping the power will be back soon. The utility company says that the power will be restored by Thursday at midnight, but that can't happen until the damages are repaired. And Minnesota students staged a walkout today, protesting the police killing of Amir Locke. Last week, the police shot Locke 3 times during a no-knock raid. Locke appeared to be sleeping on the couch with a handgun when the officers entered and woke him up. Police were looking for Locke's cousin, Mecca Speed, when they shot Locke. The walkout was organized by the Black Student Union and the Minnesota teen activists. The protesters are demanding justice for Locke and an end to no-knock warrants. And Denzel Washington picked up his 10th Academy Award nomination and is now the most nominated Black actor in Oscar history. Tyler, back to you.
Thanks, Allison. The weather has done a complete 180 since last week. OU Nightly's Gard has the latest on that weather swing.
It's great out here right now. We're seeing plenty of sunshine, warm temperatures. The breeze is definitely feeling a little chilly, but you wouldn't believe that we saw snow just a few days ago, except there are some patches of that where we're seeing shade. But across the state right now, temperatures in the mid-60s for central Oklahoma. We're seeing a bit cooler in the panhandle where those northerly winds are, a bit warmer to the southeast. And those winds are feeling a bit gusty in places, especially in the southeast, feeling those strong gusting southerly winds and northerly winds in the panhandle. But coming up later in the show, Colton will have more on the warm weather we're seeing this week, and we could see temperatures cool off once again into the weekend. Guys, it will be a beautiful week though.
Thanks, Hannah. The new online daily word puzzle Wordle has been taking over phones all across the country. After the break, find out how OU students have been taking on the daily challenge.
Plus, learn how the winter weather affected OU aviation students when we come back.
A new trend is making its way through campus. OU Nightly's Grace Burget tells us how a simple word challenge has everyone talking.
Popular new word game is taking over the world, or should I say, Wordle. And OU's Norman campus is no exception.
Have you guys heard of the new word game Wordle?
Yes.
Have you heard of the new word game Wordle?
Yes.
Have you guys heard of the new word game Wordle?
Oh, I play it.
The daily puzzle gives players 6 tries to guess a randomized word once a day.
A few times I have gotten it. It's very rewarding.
I don't know, when I get a good guess and have a lot of green letters.
The site was created by software engineer Josh Wardle for his wife who loves word games. But the game has quickly become a viral sensation, amassing a little over 1 million new daily players just in the past month.
Definitely builds brain power.
I do recommend it, yes, it's so fun.
So I'm assuming since everyone else is doing it, I would like it as well.
Going into year 3 of the pandemic, people everywhere are looking for new ways to spend their time. And Wordle is looking to be 2022's newest trend. Grace Burget, OU Nightly.
There is no app available to download right now, so to test out your skills, look up Wordle on your favorite search engine. Prices for high-demand groceries are on the rise, and Apple announces a new contactless payment feature. Mecca Thompson has more details in Money Matters.
Thanks, Mady. Yeah, due to the trends of COVID-19 contributing to high costs of living, grocery store prices are also expected to remain high this year. This comes as a result of supply chain issues, worker shortages, and many other consequences of the pandemic. And some of the main foods risking a greater price hike include meat, chicken, and eggs. This serves as an estimate due to uncertainty over where prices go as a whole. And the popular fitness company Peloton is replacing their CEO and cutting 2,800 jobs. While removing about 20% of their workforce, the company is also reducing the number of warehouses owned in an attempt to save $800 million in annual costs. The layoffs began today, and affected employees will receive a 1-year digital subscription for the inconvenience. And today, Apple plans to introduce a new contactless payment option that will be available later this year. This new tap to pay feature will allow businesses to use iPhones to process transactions with other iPhones along with debit and credit cards. And according to Apple, 90% of retailers already accept Apple Pay, and this new feature is expected to be an additional growth driver for their company. Well, guys, I'm a huge fan of Apple products, so I'm excited to see how this new feature will work. What about you?
I definitely have to agree with you on that. As the queen of always leaving my wallet at home and always using Apple Pay, I'm definitely excited to see what this new feature is going to bring to us.
Yeah, me as well. Student pilot training took a pause when winter weather hit last week. OU Aviation decides when and where students can fly, even if the training facility stays open. The OU Max Westheimer Airport is the home of the OU Aviation program for students wanting to become pilots. The program typically adheres to the Westheimer operations team policies, but when winter weather arises, their ideas may differ on giving the green light to fly.
At the end of the day, that's the only thing that matters in aviation, is that we're safe and that we're conducting everything in a proper manner. So although Westheimer might be open, you know, some of the jets that are coming in are a lot bigger than our Piper Warriors that we're flying.
While there may be some differences in takeoffs and landings, Max Westheimer and OU Aviation operations remain coordinated in keeping passengers safe.
With Valentine's Day right around the corner, the University of Oklahoma is working to promote healthy relationships. Find out how they are staying dedicated to keeping students safe.
And Colton, I'm not really sure what season it is at this point. Is the sunshine here to stay or not?
Yeah, Tyler, who knows? It feels like spring some days, winter other days. We've got some changes in the forecast. I'll let you know about all that coming up right after this. All right, welcome back to OU Nightly. Thanks for joining us. I'm Colton Williams. It's been a great day out there today. Quite the difference from what we saw this time 1 year ago today, so February 8th of 2021. At this time, we were sitting at 23 degrees Fahrenheit. That was the start of our 283 consecutive hour stretch below freezing. Much different out there today, 63 out there now. We have some awesome weather ahead, not getting anywhere near that. 1 year ago today was the beginning of that historic ice storm here throughout the middle part of February. But again, doesn't look anything like that out there right now. Taking a look towards the Oklahoma State Capitol, Lincoln Boulevard is bustling with some traffic. Plenty of people out enjoying the warm weather. Again, 64 now, sunny. Winds are out of the southwest. That's changing as we go into the next couple of hours. Dry out there this afternoon. A nice southerly breeze. Across the metro, 64 in Oklahoma City, 63 here in Norman. Middle to upper 60s all across the region, all across the state even. Feeling really, really good out there with middle to upper 60s, 67 in Tulsa. You see here the wind change out of the north now in the northwest and out of the southeast here in the southeast. That's where there's a cold front pulling through. A pretty insignificant cold front. Winds are gusting from 19 to 20 to even 25. So what's going on up there right now? Awesome weather here in central Oklahoma. The jet stream wants nothing to do with us. It's dry thanks to all of these high pressure systems all across the region. That's going to continue as we go into the next several days. So we're above average here through the rest of Thursday. A small cold front, really just a wind change pushes through. Before then we get kind of a cold snap that rolls through on Saturday. As we move into the middle part of next week, we become warmer. And then as we move into the late part of next week, we have a potential for a weather maker here. Maybe a little bit of precip coming up. So right now we are in a bit of a drought here, but you see this hasn't been updated quite yet to include all of the snowfall. You see the part that was the most extreme received several inches of snow, so they're certainly doing good. Tonight, talking about 60s by 5 o'clock, we'll be in the upper 40s by 9 p.m. Tomorrow we'll be in the 30s overnight tonight, and then tomorrow in the middle to upper 60s. And then as you head into the later part of this week, 60s, and then we see 68 on Friday before the cooler temperatures return next week. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Colton. OU Health Services are helping minimize the stigma of HIV testing before Valentine's Day. Gard has teamed up with the Gender Inequality Center and Oklahoma HIV Prevention Co-op for free HIV testing for students. The annual event took place today in the Union to help promote healthy relationships and safer sex.
Anybody who is sexually active should get tested at least once in their lifetime, if not every 6 months, every 3 months, depending on the sexual activity. It is very important to know your status.
The rapid tests were a quick finger prick that gave students their results in 10 minutes.
And Brig, one of OU's premier spring sports, is almost ready to take the field.
That's right, Tyler. OU softball is gearing up for another show-stopping season. Stick around to hear all about their upcoming game. Sports is next. Hello and welcome back to OU Nightly. I'm Brig Bates and it's time for sports. The blockbuster trade of the year is here as the Indiana Pacers and the Sacramento Kings worked a 6-player trade earlier today. The Pacers are sending 2-time All-Star center Domantas Sabonis to the Kings. The Pacers are including Jeremy Lamb, Justin Holiday, and a 2027 second-round pick in exchange for Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, and Tristan Thompson. The Pacers are reshaping their roster after trading away Karis LeVert earlier this week. The Rip City backcourt of Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum is officially coming to an end. The Portland Trail Blazers are trading C.J. McCollum along with Larry Nance Jr. and Tony Snell to the New Orleans Pelicans. The Pelicans are sending guards Josh Hart, Thomas Satoransky, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and Didi Louzada. Portland will acquire a protected first-round pick and 2 second-round picks as well. One of the biggest stories nearing the NBA trade deadline is whether the star-studded Brooklyn Nets will trade James Harden away. Coach Steve Nash made it clear that they were not trading Harden yesterday to ESPN, but Harden is being held out of tonight's game, which could mean something is in the works. The OKC Thunder took a tough loss at home to the Golden State Warriors last night, 110-98. The Thunder will host Canada's favorite, the Toronto Raptors, tomorrow in the Paycom Center at 7 o'clock. Gilgeous-Alexander and the Thunder will look to bounce back from a 2-game losing streak while the Raptors look for their 4th straight road win. The Oklahoma men's basketball team continues to struggle with a 3-game losing streak after a bedlam loss this past weekend. Moser and the boys have a tough Big 12 matchup tomorrow against the number 9 ranked team in the country, Texas Tech. The Sooners will look to break the Raiders' 3-game winning streak while Tech looks for back-to-back road wins in Norman. The game tips off tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the LNC. The OU women's gymnastics squad has been on fire with back-to-back weeks of Sooner trios sweeping the Big 12 weekly honors. Reagan Smith was awarded the Gymnast of the Week with a perfect score of 10 on the balance beam and a near-perfect score on the floor. Belle Johnson was named Event Specialist of the Week, tying a career-high score on the floor. And Danielle Sivers nailed it on the bars was named Newcomer of the Week. Oklahoma women's basketball sharpshooter Taylor Robertson has been named one of the 10 finalists for the Ann Myers Drysdale Award. The award is given to the nation's top shooting guard of the season by the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. Robertson has been on a mission, averaging 18 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 3.5 assists. It's springtime, and you know what that means. The reigning national champion Oklahoma softball team is back. Patty Gasso and the ladies' season starts this week in California for the Mark Campbell Invitational with a World Series rematch versus UCLA. The Sooners' home slate is around the corner, and tickets for the home opener on March 7th sold out in just 30 minutes. Yeah, guys, I was in line to buy tickets, but unfortunately, I was too late. Let me know if you know anyone selling them.
Thanks, Brig. With snowfall all over the country this weekend, one Illinois man reminded us that love can be cold.
Find out who the artist is behind this icy love story when we come back.
I'm Emily Faith at the OU Nightly Update Desk. The second gentleman, Doug Emhoff's visit to Dunbar High School in Washington, D.C. this afternoon was cut short after a bomb threat had been reported. Emhoff was escorted off the premises as teachers and school officials moved quickly to evacuate students out of the building. This is a developing story. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Emily. And Oklahomans weren't the only ones playing in the snow over the weekend. A man from Collinsville, Illinois sculpted a not-so-typical snowman in his front yard.
Every year, Freddie Novosel Jr. chooses a different sculpture to make out of snow. This year, Novosel chose to do an homage to Miss Piggy and Kermit's wedding just in time for Valentine's Day. I hope Miss Piggy and Kermit are still going strong, but with the change in weather, I have a feeling that most of the snowmen around Norman have melted away.
Colton, should we be expecting any more snowmen popping up soon?
Well, if you're a fan of that, I hate to tell you, not really in the foreseeable future, and I'm sure that one's melted away by today. We've got 65 for our high temperature tomorrow. Going to feel really, really good tomorrow. We're talking about springtime weather here. Before a quick cold front will roll through, that'll push us down to the 60s by Thursday. Before Friday, we're back up to the upper 60s, nearing 70. Then we get a cool shot coming in for Saturday. That could bring maybe a flurry or two, but really nothing accumulated. And then as we head into next week, we'll talk about 50s for Sunday and your Monday before we're right back into the 60s. Back to y'all.
Thank you for watching OU Nightly, brought to you by Gaylord College of Journalism and Mass Communication on the University of Oklahoma.
We'll see you back here tomorrow night, live at 4:30. Good night.